Okay, I think I'm going to start. Hello, everyone. Hope you're well. I've got the honor to, I've got the honor to interview Tyrone today. I don't know if everyone knows him, but he's a South African shot putter in the F63 class. He's got the national record and he's got the continental record, and he won bronze in Rio, yes, 2016. He can speak 3 languages, Afrikaans, Zulu, and English, and he lives in Germany. Oh, not in Germany, I live in Germany. He lives in Durban, and he's my very dear friend from South Africa. So I'm just waiting him for a request, and then we can, bring him in. I'm seeing a lot of waves. I'm just waving back. Sprichst du Deutsch? Ja, ich spreche Deutsch, aber ja. Hallo, ja. Ich spreche Deutsch, aber das Interview ist heute auf Englisch. My cuckoo clock is going off, so we still have a couple of minutes, maybe 2 minutes, for Ty to join us. Oh, Ottobock, okay, let's see. Oh, wait, Tyrone, I think you declined. So if you can just send the request again, I would appreciate it. Okay. Nope. Still waiting for your request.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good and you? Good and you? I'm not speaking to you from Germany, by the way.
Sorry?
I said I'm not speaking to you from Germany.
What?
I heard that part of your interview.
No, I said you're from Durban, and I'm like, but Durban's in South Africa, it's not in Germany.
How are you doing? Well?
No, I'm good, thank you. How's the cold weather? I heard my family said they're freezing a bit.
Well, we had a low today of 11 and a high of like 21. So it wasn't too bad. So it was actually fairly decent. I think that's the advantage to living in Durban. Your winter is not as cold as like Cape Town and Johannesburg kind of thing. So I think that's the one advantage.
Okay. But therefore your summers are really hot and humid.
Why do you think I got the tan?
Sorry?
Why do you think I have this tan?
No, I just see a new haircut, and I was wondering how you get your haircut.
I have a machine. Come on, man.
Did you cut it yourself?
Of course, yes. No, I'm lying. I got some help. I'm lying.
I have to say it's really well cut for someone that that had to do it himself. It's like
Well,
DIY on YouTube.
this part here, right? I actually did this quite well from here to here on my own, very successfully.
I see now it was like cut and then it was like a big gap and then further.
Yeah. So I obviously amended it, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to certain things. So therefore I kept cutting and cutting. That's why I'm not good with these machines. You should never let me have one of those machines. I'm never going to be a barber. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, because the lockdown is, well, people don't know, but the lockdown is really bad in South Africa. You're not allowed to go to the hairdresser yet.
Well, the hairdressers are completely closed until level 1. So currently we're in a level 3 situation, which means it's going to be a long time before you can go to a hairdresser. So I think a lot of people are coming up with their own ways. I actually watch YouTube on how to cut my hair because I've never cut my hair on my own. I've always gone to a salon. So there's some really cool videos on YouTube on how to do it.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Hydri.
I was saying the same thing as well. He's
keep on teasing me about the heating. Yeah.
Yeah. We need him to come to Durban when it's like 37 degrees. Then he'll understand the true heat of Durban.
Well, I love going to Durban. We used to go there when we were children, like for summer holidays.
Yeah, it's really good for a holiday. I think obviously more people come over during your December and maybe like April holidays and stuff like that. And the weather's perfect during that time.
Yeah. Well, I actually prefer January because January it's quite busy in Johannesburg because Decembers are very busy.
So you come down this way.
Durban. Yes, when everyone ran away. Okay, so I already introduced you. I don't know if you followed that.
Yeah, I actually saw the whole thing. I requested it a couple of times. I don't know why, but it kept sending the request, but nothing happened. But I was watching it. Don't worry.
So it might have been. Well, I'm not very good with technology, so maybe it came up, but I was just like, oh, okay.
I'm much older than you, right? So you shouldn't be saying that.
But I'm from the old generation. I didn't play with my cell phone when I was younger.
Yeah, that's true. I'm a tech guy, so I can't complain. I have some valid excuses for why I know how to do things.
I read that, but then I was like, shit, is it true? Is it not true? So I was rather saying I kept it safe.
Yes, it is true. I worked in IT from 2005 right until 2017 or so.
Oh, only recently. But now you're a professional athlete as well.
Well, I think I'm professional athlete.
Well, we all try to be.
Yeah. Totally. I think a few things will happen, and then obviously we all become there one day, or maybe not me, maybe the next generation, I hope.
Yeah, we'll get to those questions. I wanted to know, well, I hate this question, but I think we can get it out of the way and as quick as possible. Okay. How's the training situation during the lockdown for you guys? Well, all the athletes and especially you.
Well,
in South Africa.
I'm answering for myself first because I haven't been in that much contact with everyone to answer everyone. The first 4 weeks of lockdown was fairly good. I was able to get a lot of training in because the gym that I train at loaned me all the equipment. So I had everything in my garage and I was able to train. So the first 4 weeks was really good. I was like doing all that I was told to do. Week 5 and week 6, I started to struggle mentally. I think there was a lot of problems because you don't know what to expect. We didn't know when the games was going to happen. We didn't know, whether we were going to be allowed onto the track. There was a lot of confusion, right? So as a result, I think I went into a little bit of a negative space. I started getting a bit depressed by the whole thing as well. And then I decided, okay, focus on what I can control and not on what I can't. And then I got back into it after a couple of days of being like in a very low place. And then I realized, hey, you just got to do what you can. I mean, if the games is going to be hosted next year, and that's all the time that you have, you got to prepare the best that you can and do the things that you can. So eat right, make sure you're training, all of that. So that's exactly what I've been doing.
Okay.
And like for the other athletes, I think a lot of them are struggling in a similar sort of way. I had a chat with a few, And I think some of them, financially, it's a big problem. It's a huge burden for a lot of athletes right now financially. I mean, there's no support coming in. So how do they survive? What do they do? So I think those are some of the challenges. And then obviously all the facilities are closed. Your gyms are closed. Your training facilities are closed. So you can't throw. Like for me, I haven't thrown shot put now for nearly 3 months, which is a long time, right? So I've been doing some visualization and some like a little drill, but it's not the same thing as actually throwing. And you know what it's like. You're not running on the track is not the same thing as standing in your lounge and constantly doing that. It's completely different. So, you know, those are the things that are the challenges I think we face right now.
Well, first, I can understand that it's not very motivating knowing that Tokyo has moved with a year. And I saw one of the girls athletes actually in Johannesburg build herself like a throwers ring. I don't know if you, but I don't know if you can do this. Well, you obviously can't do the same thing, and you can't do it in a garage.
The distances that I throw, it's a lot harder. You know,
Sorry?
The distance that I throw, it's a lot harder to build your own ring. And the other problem is I live in an apartment. I don't have my own place to do that. Like I don't have my own garden and things. So, I mean, if the weather was perfect, I would have shown you what my view is like from outside my window. Then you'll see where I live. I live on the beach, and there's nothing that I can do literally. So I can't set up my own ring or anything like that. So unfortunately, unlike the other athletes, I don't have the luxury of creating stuff. I know one of my friends, Cohen, you know Cohen, he created his own shot put ring at home and stuff. So I think it's fine if you have the space. In my situation, it's not available to me. And then obviously the other thing I did was I set up my garage with weights, and I've been just doing weightlifting in there. So funny enough, like the neighbors hear the thuds, like all the weights landing, and they come running out to check what it is, and then they see it's me lifting weights in the garage kind of thing.
Oh no, it's just Tyrone again. Okay, we can carry on. I saw on Instagram, or I know, that we talk a lot, that you do a lot of Pilates. So it's a bit funny because every time I try to talk to a guy about Pilates, they're always like, no, that's for girls, that's for sissies. And then you get to a guy like you, and like this big guy in Inspector K, he's just in the gym pumping, building iron, I don't know what. And then suddenly he's like having an Instagram story of how he does Pilates. So tell us a bit about it. Why do you do Pilates? Why do you love doing it? What does it help with? Maybe convince some men to do Pilates.
Firstly, we need to get rid of the stereotype. Pilates is not only for ladies. Pilates was founded by a guy. So immediately people need to remember that, right? So it's a completely mindset that we need to shift towards, that Pilates is for everyone. It's an amazing workout. And I think for me personally...
sorry, Tyrone. Sorry, you broke up a bit. I don't know if everyone heard you. Can you just repeat your sentence?
I was saying Pilates...
I don't know if it's from my side.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. I was saying Pilates was created by a guy. So it's a stereotype way that we need to get rid of, that Pilates is for ladies. It's not. Pilates is for everybody. And I think one of the things people need to remember is Pilates is a really challenging workout. I mean, core stabilization, stability is completely different from anybody who would ever imagine, my personal opinion. I still believe Pilates is actually harder than some of the weightlifting that I do. So for me personally, Pilates is super difficult. I think it's an amazing workout. It's something that I wanted to incorporate because I was at a point where I was doing a lot of weightlifting and I didn't have certain things happening for me. So I figured, let me improve my core strength, my stabilization, my stability, all of that using Pilates. So that's why I started doing Pilates. And it's now over 10 years that I've been doing Pilates and very successful for me.
10 years?
Yeah. You wanna know a funny story, right? I went for an assessment.
Yep.
And when I went for the assessment, they asked me what my height was. So I said to them, I'm 1.8 meters tall. And they said, no, you can't be 1.8 meters tall. You got to be a lot taller than that. And I said, no, I'm 1.8. So they put me onto a wall with a tape measure, and it measured 183. So the guy looks at me, he's like, how would you have grown 3 centimeters? So I was like completely shocked. Never, ever would have thought that I would have grown, right? So then I said to him, no, I've started doing Pilates for the last few years. And he says, obviously Pilates starts to obviously straighten your posture, make you be more upright because of the core and the stabilization. So everybody that was shorter said to me, hey, you know what? We need to start Pilates now because it'll make us a lot taller.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll tell Johannes that you must start doing Pilates so you can.
Yeah, tell him to start now. So by 2028, you'll be able to be a lot taller.
Well, I'm really tall for a girl, so I don't think I'm going to do Pilates because otherwise,
Yeah,
I'm going to like.
I think you're gonna tower over everybody. I think you and I are
I,
almost the same height or something.
well, since Pilates, you're 3 centimeters taller than I am. Okay, cool. Well, do you do Pilates instead of doing gym then? Do you ever
So
find that you said, okay, I'm going to leave the gym today and do
no,
Pilates,
no, no.
or
I have everything incorporated. So what I do is I do 6 days a week of training.
yeah,
I weightlift between 3 to 4 times in a week, and Pilates once a week. It was getting difficult to do Pilates twice a week. It takes a lot of time, and with all the things that I'm trying to do, and we'll get into that as we go on in this conversation. So it's difficult
yeah,
to put 2 sessions of Pilates in a week. So for now, it's just one. And it's working successfully for me. So I just make sure that the principles are there. Like, for example, when I'm driving, I make sure I scap stabilize. I'm pulling down with my scaps rather than rounding my shoulders, those kind of things. Those are things that I've learned to do now.
you told me that you have to drive 1 hour every day to the Pilates. Is it still
Yeah.
like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
not
quite
now,
far.
not during the lockdown, but obviously normally.
Yeah. The Pilates studio is quite far from where I live. It's like literally from
Okay.
one to the other end kind of thing. But because it's once a week, it's not too bad. And I really enjoy it.
Okay. Sorry, I was.
You're
Okay.
reading the comments at the bottom at the same time.
Yes, well, Heidi was like, yes, we have to do it because maybe they ask questions. So I was like, okay, listen, it's very difficult. Even though I'm a girl, I can't always do both.
So do you want to ask the questions and you want me to read everything at the bottom?
No, it's fine, it's fine. If you have questions, just hold on a bit. I'm just telling everyone. Well, I was thinking of a fun game so everyone will get to know you a bit. Because obviously I got second best at your chest on your live stream questionnaire. Just want to let everyone know. So I'm a big fan. But there's a couple of questions I think I don't know, and a lot of our viewers also don't know. And 21 quick questions. So you have to say the first thing that comes to your head. Okay. Okay, let's start. First thing, your favorite food?
Tuna.
Sorry, tuna.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite South African meat?
Braaivleis.
Braaivleis, okay. Third thing, your favorite city in South Africa?
Cape Town.
Cape Town. No, Johannesburg. I thought you were going to say Johannesburg.
No, never.
Okay, fourth thing, favorite city in the world?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to say Rio or Tokyo.
Rio or Tokyo, okay. After Corona and lockdown, what will be your next holiday destination?
Maldives.
Maldives, okay. Okay, 6. If you could have a theme song for your life, like if you can choose any song that fits your life at best, a theme song, what will it be?
Oh my God. It'll have to be something from Nickelback, because Nickelback's one of my favorite groups, right? So it'll have to be something from Nickelback, yeah.
Do you know the Nickelback joke?
No, please tell me.
So how do you run under 25 minutes over 5K?
You play a Nickelback song.
No, you start your Nickelback playlist at 25 minutes. It's very corny, I know, but very corny, I know, but anyway. Okay. Okay, but you can think about it and let us know later. Okay, 7. If you can have any superpower, what will it be?
Oh, I got it already. I got the big strength.
Sorry?
I said I already have it. I got the strength.
And that's why you don't like spinach. You like tuna.
Exactly. Yeah.
For protein.
That's what gets you bigger biceps. It's not the spinach. Trust me.
It's so funny. But anyway. Okay, 8. The size in centimeters of your one big calf.
45 centimeters.
45 centimeters. And your other one?
That's a joke now, right? The prosthetic leg, that thing's like probably like 20 centimeters or something.
20 centimeters. I just thought you were going to measure it. What's half the size?
It all depends on how Johan decides to make the leg. If he decides to make the leg big, then I can have a bigger calf.
Well, I actually met someone that said no, he wants to measure someone's calf that's really big. So if he has his legs on like his prosthesis, then he's got very big prosthesis because he copied. So he's always on the lookout. He's got big calves.
Well, it's actually quite funny because I was on tour in I think it was Brazil, and the guy saw me and he says, "What kind of an Instagram name is that?" Because it used to be Tyrone_1BigShot, and he's like, "That's a stupid name. You only have one big calf." So that's how the name came about.
I found the name very cute. I just want to tell you.
Yeah. I wanted something original.
Okay, 9. How much do you bench press?
135 kgs.
135. Okay.
Yeah,
is that your max weight? Sorry?
Yeah, no, that's not my max. I've never tested for max because we don't really bench for max. But okay. I'm guessing 150 would be a max.
Okay. Yeah. It's more than these small cook can do.
You should have asked me how much I squat because my squat is more impressive than my bench press.
Okay, how much do you squat? Okay, that's not part of the question. Sorry?
240.
240. Okay, that's quite a lot. Yeah. Sure. Your PB?
1391.
1391. Okay, 3 things you always have to pack when you travel somewhere.
My TENS machine.
The what machine?
TENS, my like little electronic massaging machine.
Okay.
Kinesio tape and Allen keys for my prosthetic leg. Oh, sorry, and there's an even more important one, duct tape. You have to have duct tape if you have a prosthetic leg. Because if that thing breaks, you just duct tape the whole leg.
You sound like my dad, except my dad's always using wire to fix everything.
Yeah, no, I don't think wire is going to stay with me. Hey? Duct tape just works brilliantly.
Who was your roommate in Rio?
Reinhard Hamann.
Okay. So you're not allowed to say anything bad because maybe he's watching. No, I'm just joking.
I'm obviously going to say bad stuff about him. I say it to his face anyway.
Okay, your usual roommate or your favorite roommate? Or your person you wish?
Usual roommate is Reinhard, obviously, because I've toured the most with him. I'd say my favorite roommate would be anybody who wants to put up with my nonsense.
Do you have a lot of nonsense?
Oh yeah. I think I've become the practical joker when I'm on tour with the guys. Sometimes I get them into trouble a lot.
Okay. Do you snore?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm generally sleeping before everybody else, so you have to ask somebody that. Ask one of the guys if I snore. They'll probably be the best to tell you that.
Because if you snore and you sleep very deep, or have a very deep sleep, then we can share. Because I'm also always looking for trouble.
Okay. I have to test it. I'm going to put my phone on record to make sure if I can tell you the answer to that.
Okay. Okay. 14. Do you have a ritual before a competition?
Yeah, I always put my right leg, shoes, and socks on first.
Which one is your calf?
My calf is my right leg, and my prosthetic leg is my left leg.
Okay, same as I do. Oh, okay. Do you even change your socks? Because I know some people don't change their socks.
Well, I'm particular because I like the way I look all the time, so everything must match. So I won't wear different color socks and things like that. So everything has to be coordinated all the time.
I know, like David changes his socks once a year. David Beere. But he doesn't have feet, so it doesn't stink.
Yeah. I think for him it's okay. But if you're running in the rain, it starts to sweat. I mean, smell a bit because of the wetness. Yeah. So I'm very particular about all of that stuff, because sometimes you're walking and there's water everywhere that goes into the shoe, and then those socks get wet. So I always change it. And the other reason why I change it is I like to see if the covering of the prosthetic is not breaking. And sometimes you leave it in there and you don't know that the cover is actually broken. And then when you get into a competition, you realize it's broken, and then your walk changes completely and everything goes off. So that's one of the reasons why I always change the sock.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I'm smart in my old age.
You have a couple of years behind you, that's why.
Yeah. That's why I went for this haircut, so I could look a bit younger.
I still want to know who cut your hair, who cut your hair, because I don't think you cut your hair. I don't think you DIY'd it to cut your hair.
Do you honestly think I would have risked my status as a South African athlete to go out in lockdown and get a hairdresser to cut my hair? Okay, we'll talk afterwards.
I don't think so. I don't think so. That's the thing. Maybe you didn't go out to cut your hair, but you always ask me for new socks during trainees camp. It's not even by it. Heinrich said, so he just said, I remember that Heinrich said that he always asked David to buy him socks. If he can get socks from Heinrich, because he doesn't even buy his own socks.
Okay.
So he changes it once a year at trainings camp, and then he doesn't even buy it because he just gets it from Heinrich. Yeah.
Heinz a good guy. He gives everybody socks. The only thing Heinz is short of doing is swapping his prosthetic leg with people when theirs breaks.
Where was I? I don't think that you went out to cut your hair, but maybe someone came to cut your hair.
No, nobody came to cut my hair. Next question.
Okay. Do you eat anything specific before a competition?
I listen to music to try and get into the zone. So it's literally just listening to music, staying focused, and remembering what we worked on. That's it.
No, but I mean, eat anything. Eat like food.
Oh, eat anything. No,
yeah.
I don't generally eat
like
that
pasta
much. To be
or...
honest with you. No, I don't generally eat much.
Okay.
I actually prefer not eating too much before a competition.
Okay. Except if it's tuna.
Yeah, 2 hours before a competition, I wouldn't really eat.
Oh, so that's your after competition snack, like?
Yeah. So tuna is something that I enjoy eating. So if it's available afterwards, yeah. But most times it's not. So you'll have to eat whatever's available to you.
Okay. Yeah, obviously, because at the competition, yeah.
Like a Bronkwurst in Germany is generally what I have after competition. And in Japan, it's curry udon.
I never had that. But if you come to Germany,
that's my favorite dish in Japan, by the way, curry udon.
Curry udon. Okay, so that will fit perfectly to our next.
When we go to Tokyo, I'll take you to the place where I have curry udon. It's amazing.
Okay, but then if you come and visit us in Germany for the competition, I'll take you for some bratwurst or currywurst.
Okay, that's a deal, right? Good.
Yeah, we're making a deal. Yeah. So the next one's going to... What's the name again of the Japanese? Curry
udon.
Curry udon. Okay, wait.
No, curry. So it's like normal curry, like how we'd have Durban curry. So it's curry udon. U-D-O-N. Udon.
Udon.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I'm going to look it up
afterwards. Noodles. It's like really big noodles kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it? It's like
pasta. It's like a pasta dish. It's like a noodle, and it has this really cool soup kind of thing on it. So it's like a saucy soup with a little bit of curry flavor to it, and they put chicken, and they have a prawn tempura on the top. I'll share a picture with you later. You can see it. It's really, really good.
Okay, I'm gonna also Google it. Maybe try and order it. Okay, 16. In Tokyo, we will bring back more medals in track and field. A, South African para-athletes, or B, South African able-bodied athletes.
South African para-athletes. No brainer. No brainer.
Okay. 17. After your competition in Tokyo, where I will join you. What will be your next biggest challenge? A, eating as much curry udon as you can, or B, wrestling a sumo wrestler?
Well, I've wrestled a sumo wrestler already. I've got that out the way. I've not eaten the most amount of curry udon, so I'm going to say let's go curry udon.
Because who won against you in the sumo wrestler? That's what I want to know.
Well, it was a bit of a practice thing. I think if he had to go full on into me, I might have died, to be totally honest with you. The only thing I had on him was that my hands were bigger than his.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I just know my one brother's like, he's so looking forward for Tokyo. It's not just my competition, but he also wants my other brother to compete against a sumo wrestler.
Well, the funny part was I actually got an opportunity to go to where they train. So I got to see these guys train, and we actually met a few of them. They're massive guys. I mean, I look like a little twig compared to them. That's how big they are. Quite an interesting thing to learn how their culture is, how they eat. It's very interesting. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, the sumo season is May and August, or May and September. I'm not sure the exact dates, but it's between those 2 months that they have their tournaments.
Would you is it like normal wrestling? Like wrestling
No,
WWE,
not at all. So
but
you have a ring with no like boundaries. You can literally, the guys fall over and they land on the crowd and stuff like that. So they're really big guys. So you can imagine now a guy falling off this. And it's a very short match. It lasts only a matter of seconds. I think the longest fight you might even get, or bout you'd get, would probably be a couple of minutes. And then the guys are tired. They're not meant for like long wrestling or anything like that. They just keep jostling and pushing each other, and then eventually it's all over.
Okay, next question. 18. Would you rather A, arm wrestle Heinrich Popov, or B, have a 30-meter sprint competition against Nico Kappel?
I'll go with the sprint because Heinz got some serious muscles on him, eh? I think I'm gonna go for the sprint. I'm gonna
30 meters
against Nico. Yeah.
You think he will take him?
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to put that to a test. I think I'll take it.
We'll have that after eating all your kuru odon.
Okay, cool.
So we'll first have the eating as much kuru odon as you can, and then having the 30-meter race.
Oh God, imagine what that would be like. I mean, already I'm disadvantaged, right? Now you want me to eat curry udon and run after that. It's going to be even worse.
Well, I have to keep you active after Tokyo, after your game, of your competition.
I think there's a bit of favoritism towards your teammate more than anything else. You're trying to sabotage me. That's what I think.
Excuse me?
I said, I think you're trying to sabotage me because of your teammate.
Obviously. I just look innocent. I'm actually evil.
I'm going to tell border control that when you come back to South Africa every single time.
Please don't, because I always bring a lot of Haribo's. I always bring a lot of chocolates and sweets with me.
So you're going to be in some trouble. So be careful what you say.
Yeah. Okay. What's your guilty pleasures in life? Your guilty pleasure in life?
Sweet stuff, but one of the worst is burgers. I love burgers.
Burgers?
Yeah, I love burgers.
Like steers?
No, homemade burgers, not steers. Steers, I don't really eat that. The homemade burgers. I love burgers. I generally, like if I go to the US or anywhere I travel to, I love trying burgers from different countries kind of thing. So yeah, burgers is my guilty pleasure.
Do you eat the tuna burgers?
I've never tried that actually.
Just maybe try it.
Yeah, I think maybe we should try that. I've never tried it actually. The idea of like fish on bread doesn't work for me. I can't fathom that idea. So a normal like curry or that kind of things would be really good for me. I'm happy with that.
Maybe try it and let me know. Send a picture.
Okay, I'll do that. As soon as everything starts opening up and I can find a place that serves tuna burgers, definitely.
You could start it from your kitchen. Start selling tuna burgers.
Okay.
The next big idea. Okay. 20. If you could be any animal, what animal would it be?
I'd be an elephant.
An elephant?
Yeah.
Oh.
For many reasons. Because one is the elephant's really intelligent, and also it's
Yeah.
so big and majestic in the way it moves. So people don't really give it the attention it deserves. They can cover up ground so much quicker because you're so entranced by what you see of them. Then you realize, oh my God, they're right up there next to you. So I would say an elephant.
Yeah, they're also very heartful. I know they cry when their young ones die and things like that. So yeah, I've got a lot of elephant lovers in my
Okay.
circle. The thing you love most about yourself?
My dedication.
Dedication.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need me to
I
explain?
want to ask to what? No. Obviously,
Okay.
I think you. I don't think you would have won a medal in Rio if you weren't dedicated.
But also, it's not only about sport. It's in everything that I do. I look at life completely different. I don't have sport this way, home life this way, work this way. Everything is the exact same. So what I do in one, I do across everything. So I think that's the important message to people is that when you do something, you do it all the time. You do it in your life, full stop. Hey, Mr. Whitehead, how are you doing, buddy?
Oh, Richard. Well, yeah, I think being an athlete is mostly it's a lifestyle thing. So you can't just say, hey, this is sports. Now I switch it off. Now I can eat whatever I like.
Exactly.
It's like you have to have your entire lifestyle.
You got to be disciplined in everything that you do. That's
Yeah.
the thing about life, right? You can't suddenly just say, oh no, I'm going to be like this only for sport, and then you suddenly go into the working environment, and then you know what it's like because you're working now, right? You can't basically just sit there and just wait past time by. You want to be something. You want to achieve something. You want to become better. So the only way for you to do that is to apply all those principles to get you there. And as sportsmen, we learn a lot on the field. I mean, I can tell you personally, my life has transformed through sport, and everything I've learned in sport, I apply to my day-to-day life.
Yeah, sports teaches us a lot of things that people that don't do sports don't learn.
Yeah.
So
and that's why I'm a big advocate for sport. I believe that sport at school is an important thing because the youngsters need to learn at an early age the disciplines that come with sport.
You know, you actually just see it with, when I went to uni, you could see, okay, which girls did sports and which didn't. So the girls that did sports at school automatically were able to arrange their time a bit better. And the girls that didn't, you automatically just saw it in there. Yeah. So getting to the serious questions, are you ready? Okay, so before you saw the light and you came to join the athletics team, you used to play a bit of cricket. I don't think a lot of people know cricket, even though it's the second biggest sport in the world with 2.5 billion fans. Why don't you give us a bit of a small introduction? Not to me, because I obviously know cricket, but to the rest of our viewers.
So cricket's quite an interesting game. I mean, a lot of people don't like cricket because of the length of cricket. But cricket's quite a strategic game. I think there's a lot of strategies involved in playing cricket. It's usually played with two teams. You have 11 players on both teams, and each team is made up of different dynamic of players. You have guys that can bat, you can have guys that can bowl. So obviously bat is similar to baseball, the batter in a baseball game. If I use an analogy, that's what I would use. A bowler is somebody like a pitcher, that kind of a thing. So you have like different roles within the game, and I think one of the things that I like the most about cricket is the strategy. I used to be the captain of the team, so you have to constantly think about all the players in the team, what they're doing, what's their strengths, when to bring them in, where. If the team is doing badly, how do you turn things around? There's a lot of strategy involved in it. I think it's an amazing game to actually play. It's hard for me to watch, though. I struggle to watch because when you're seeing it on TV and you see the mistakes that people are making, you just want to get in there and like, hey, why don't you do this? That kind of thing. But when you're playing it, it's an amazing feeling. I think for me personally, I played for 14 years. I loved it. I didn't know anything else but cricket. It was all that I ever knew. All I ever dreamt about was playing for the Proteas, which is obviously South Africa's national team. And unfortunately, in 2008, I came to the realization that this wasn't going to work. It was never going to materialize. So that's when I decided to go into the parasport. But yeah, cricket's quite interesting. I know in the US, a lot of people say they don't like it because of how long the game can go. You get different formats of cricket. I mean, you get the 5-day game, which a game can last for 5 days. Then you get the 1-day game, which is usually 50 overs per side, which can take up to about 8 hours. And now the most recent one, which is the shortest version of cricket, which will last you, I think, a total of 2 hours per side, so 4 hours in total. So cricket's evolving, and I think it's getting more interesting because it's all about viewership. And I think with every sport, that's what people want to see. They want to see entertainment, they want to see excitement. That's why they want to watch it.
Well, back then you couldn't start for the Proteas, but now you're starting for the Kroko.
Well, the thing is, I always say this to people. I think for me, it was always my dream to play cricket.
Yeah.
I was a youngster, really small. I think I was 2 and 3 years old when I was running around, and I always held a cricket bat in my hand. I was bowling all the time. I love cricket. I can actually bowl with both hands, left and right, even though I'm right-handed. That's how good I am. And I can bat left and right-handed as well. So I actually developed these skills. That's what I'm saying. Cricket was just something that came naturally to me. It wasn't something that I had to work at, like how athletics is. Athletics, I have to work a lot more, whereas cricket was just like, put the ball in your hand and you just could do things. So it was amazing for me.
Do you still play cricket? Every now and again?
Sadly, no. I've stopped altogether. I used to play in a social league, and the problem was I was getting injured quite a lot because obviously the ball would slam into my hand. And I mean, the guys bowl at like 130, 140, like that kind of kilometers per hour. And imagine that smacking against your hand. And if it's your throwing, the chances are you're going to damage something, which is going to affect me from being in the Paralympics. So I've made that decision not to play cricket anymore because of that. So that's why I've actually just stopped.
Well, I'm glad you came to the good side.
Yeah. I can tell you this honestly, though. I would love to play cricket. It's like I said, it's a passion that I have. It's something that I love. But what the Paralympics has given me is priceless. It's changed my life tremendously, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
So you used to play for able bodies, and now you do parasports. Yeah. What do you say is the biggest difference between parasports and able bodies, other than having a disability? But yeah,
I think one of the interesting things is that what I've learned in Paralympics is that everybody's like a family. There's a unity amongst people.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said everybody's like a family. There's a unity amongst everyone. And it's really good to see. I mean, you can go out and race somebody, but afterwards there's this great sense of familyness amongst everyone. Everybody's a unit. They try to stay with each other. They support each other really well. I mean, something that stands out for me was Hein carrying Ntando on his shoulder when Ntando's blades broke. I don't know if you remember that. And that just shows the character of the people. It just shows what people are all about. And that's what the Paralympics stands for. So for me personally, the Paralympics is just phenomenal. I think what we have gained with the Paralympics and where it's going to go is just out of this world. Guys like Hein, you, myself are the beacons. We are the people that are going to show the world what is capable if you believe, what is capable if you want it bad enough. And I think, that's the next step for us going forward, is that we play active roles leading up.
I often have that feeling that, well, I don't often, in the past 5 years or whatever, the Olympic sports were a lot about fair play. And I think a lot of Olympic or able-bodied athletes can learn a thing or two about the parasports, because I think we have a lot of fair play. Like you said, Hein giving his blade to Ntando, or just things that happen on the track. You automatically see fair play, and people are not like, oh yeah, that's my competition or whatever, or my competitor. They automatically support one another.
I mean, I still remember when I competed in Rio. I mean, it was amazing, right? I mean, the feelings that I had going into that competition and the way everybody embraces you afterwards. Frank, obviously, you know Frank quite well. Frank and I get along super well. Comes and hugs you afterwards. Tom, all of the guys. I promise you, it's a great feeling to have that group of guys around you who, as much as we're warriors when we step on there, but we're also good friends and we support each other. I think that's the most important thing. And it's not just because you're a shot putter. It's every code. I mean, I know the guys in swimming. I know the guys in judo. You name it. I've met people all around the world who have competed in the Paralympics and have inspired me to be a better person. So I think
Yeah.
personally, my journey in life is greater because of the Paralympics. And that's why I'm saying it's the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me.
It's very cute. Well, I've spoken a lot to your teammates, and I've spoken to you, and we had long discussions. And I know you're a very big ambassador for Paralympic sports. What would you say is the one thing that is missing in Paralympic sports, which can make Paralympic sports reach a new level?
Personally, I think it's about coverage. I think it's the exposure that we get. At the moment, it's not there. I think we're struggling a bit with that aspect. For example, you only see the Paralympics once every 4 years. Besides those events, we don't see anything else. And I think for me personally, that's where your problem comes in. For example, if I was watching Paralympics at the age of 4 or 5 years old, back in 1984, I would have been in the Paralympics a long time ago, because I would have been, wow, look at this, it's amazing. We didn't even know that the Paralympics existed. Like I said to you, I mean, we were completely blinded by this. So more exposure is what's really needed. And I think that's one of the biggest things right now, is that we don't get the exposure that we deserve. And don't get me wrong, this is not a competition between the Olympics and Paralympics. I'm not that guy. I believe in equal rights for everyone. And I think the time has come now where the Paralympics needs to have their own space and their own dedicated time. I think that's the biggest thing right now for us to go forward. And I think for me personally, I'd love to see that. If I can become one of the guys working the Paralympics so that I can drive that, hey, all means I'm here, guys. You want to hire me, you can hire me. But I think that's what we need to do. You know, we need to get to a point where we're basically promoting the Paralympics in a positive way during prime time. People want to see this. People want to be able to, wow, imagine all the youngsters sitting at home thinking they can't do this, or they in a wheelchair, or they have a leg missing, or they're visually impaired, or whatever the case might be. You suddenly see great people like yourself, Hein, myself, Natando, you name the people, immediately it inspires others. It suddenly says to them, you can do this as well. And the only way you can do that is by exposure. And at the moment, we're not getting that exposure. So I personally believe the more exposure, the Paralympics is going to grow, not only from a financial point. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know it's about making money and stuff, but it's also about growing the sport and bringing people into it. And that's my biggest thing. The more we show it, more people are going to come in.
Yeah, well, that's what I said last week. I wished actually I knew earlier that I was able to compete at the Paralympic Games. And I think a lot of people wish the same, that they could have started earlier.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad because we didn't know. I mean, let's be honest, in South Africa, there was only a handful of people that I knew, like only now they were telling me about, oh, why didn't you join the Paralympics back then? We didn't know about it. It was not something that was exposed to us. So the more we expose it, the more kids will come through. And more parents' minds will change as well. And more society will change. Because society right now looks at us as there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with us. And I love saying this, we're differently abled. We have abilities to do things. And people need to realize that. For us to be able to go forward, people need to change mindsets. And the more people see us, the more mindsets get changed. I mean, I walk in the street, people look at me strangely because of my leg. But if they were educated, they'd understand. I mean, when you go into Europe, people don't treat you that way. You go to the US, it's completely different. In the US, people have the utmost respect for somebody with a prosthetic leg. And that's what we need here in South Africa and certain parts of the world where they don't get that. So we need to get to a point where we grow this with more exposure, so people are more educated. The more educated you are, the better you are. And education is key in life, not only from looking at a book, but in every aspect. And I think that's the key here. We need to educate people about disability, educate people about the Paralympics.
Yeah. It's actually funny because, I remember 2012, I was at uni still in Johannesburg, and the Olympic Games were on. And we were amped, but not that amped. But then we knew that the Paralympic Games were on afterwards. And I told you we went to the draws, because everyone knows the draws, and we didn't miss one. We didn't miss one night of the Paralympic Games, and we were always sitting there cheering on, and we were watching it. So the interest is obviously there. It's not that people aren't interested in the sport, and obviously, I just wish in a way that it was like that, not just during the Paralympics, but also during the World Championships and the African Championships and even the national championships.
But even our Grand Prix events that we do, right? Some of those things could be broadcast as well. For example, our national championships is not always shown during prime time. It's always shown later. Like, I mean, I remember once waking up, it was like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning, and you got to see some of the athletics. Who's watching TV at 1 a.m. and 2 a.m.? No one. And the
Except
only
if
thing
you're watching ETV.
Yeah. But my point of the matter is that at those times, there's no viewership. How do we inspire young kids? Young kids are gone to bed. We can't inspire anybody at that time. If you go between 5 p.m., 7 p.m., immediately that's like a prime time slot. So more kids are seeing this. More parents are seeing it. And they're saying, hey, hold on, there is nothing wrong with my kid. My kid could do Paralympic sport. Sponsors are now watching the space and saying, wow, look at these people. They're amazing. Why don't we get behind the Paralympics? Then money comes in. Then you're growing the sport. You're becoming professional. So there's so many ways where we could go about doing this. And I think the marketing companies need to understand how to go about marketing para-athletes, because this excuse that we are not marketable, I don't buy. I think you guys need to understand how to market us. There's a market for every person. There's a story for every person. So I urge people to understand how to market people.
Well, technically, we're not just motivate for other para-athletes. That's my opinion. We also motivate for people, because I often get messages not from people who's disabled, but often people that's not disabled, telling me, you know what, I read about your story and I'm like, I did this and this and this. So I think if they actually just use us correctly, they can not just reach other disabled people, but also other people to inspire.
Yeah. It creates an awareness. I mean, if you really think about it, right? I mean, I walk around, everybody knows who I am. I'm quite a well-known person within the community, and everybody knows you, right? So I get a phone call when somebody loses their limb. Immediately, somebody will phone me to say, this person's lost their limb, can you help them out? So I'll pick up the phone, I'll speak to them, give them some sort of encouragement, right? But imagine how much better and how much more we could reach if it was on TV all the time and people are seeing that. Because not everybody feels comfortable phoning me to say, hey, you know what, in their eyes, I'm a Paralympian, you know. I'm not. I'm just Tyrone Pillay, the guy who went out there and competed. I'm no different from anybody else. That's my simple way. But if it was showcased on TV, immediately people can relate. They can feel more comfortable. They're like, wow, look at that. Look at that person. They're competing. They're running 100 meters. They're swimming. They're canoeing. Immediately mindsets are changing, because now people are saying, oh, I can do this. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. So let's talk about jumping kids.
Okay.
It obviously follows into one another. I know you're ambassador for jumping kids, and what I think you guys are doing, you, Johan, and Tando, Arnu, all of you are doing at Jumping Kids are phenomenal. But I don't think a lot of viewers or viewers know about Jumping Kids or what exactly it's Jumping Kids. Would you like to elaborate a bit on that? And then at the end, also maybe like to elaborate on how can we help you guys as well? Is there any way that like maybe sponsoring, or I don't know, how we can give you a hand on Jumping Kids?
So Jumping Kids is a non-profit organization, and a lot of people won't know this, but in Africa in particular, there's a huge shortage of prosthetic limbs for people. And you could wait a long period of time to get a prosthetic. You could wait months, you could wait a year. It depends. It's hard for me to give you an exact time period of waiting, but it can be a long period of time. So with Jumping Kids, what they actually do is they generally try to fit kids. Obviously, the maximum age is 18. Once they go past 18, you know, that kind of support kind of ends. So we try to get them while they're youngsters, get them active, get them mobile, get them through the school, become educated, become upstanding members of community. That's what we drive. Jumping Kids is phenomenal. It's something that is close to my heart, because obviously I was a 10-month-old baby when I first started walking, and I needed a prosthetic leg. So my parents, who were not the wealthiest of people, so obviously had to get a lot of money, and you're going to laugh when I tell you this. In 1980, my prosthetic limb cost me my parents, 1,500 Rand. And in retrospect, if you think about those numbers, that was a lot of money back then, right? So
Yeah.
effectively, these kids are going to get high quality prosthetic legs now and become mobile earlier. So we're eliminating suicide, we're eliminating deaths, depression, all of that by getting these kids mobile and active. And that's one of the most amazing things about Jumping Kids is that we want you to be active. We're not saying you have to become a Paralympian, but we want you to be active. Natando is a great example. He's a kid that was at 10 years old. Everybody said he's never going to walk. He's just going to be basically sitting in a wheelchair. Look at Natando now. The world's his oyster. I mean, this kid is doing everything. He's amazing. His talent is phenomenal. What he's achieving, and he's still so grounded and level-headed because of Johan and the way Johan's got him thinking and understanding the way of life. So, I mean, the program is phenomenal. Did I lose you for a second?
Sorry, yes, I think you lost me, but I don't know if it's just on my side. Will you just, the program, I think you, that was your last sentence.
So what I was saying is the program is such a successfully run program in that we are now able to get kids active. And I think that's the big thing. It's difficult to try and help every single kid because it takes a lot of money. I mean, a prosthetic limb can be anywhere from 30,000 Rand all the way to 100,000 Rand, depending on the cases, depending on whether it's an above knee, below knee, what kind of arm you need. It ranges, right? And I think one of the nicest things, Jumping Kids, I think have probably gone over 800 prosthetic limbs that they've actually fitted already, which is phenomenal. And the work that they're doing with these youngsters. So for me, I'm proud to be a part of it. I literally jumped in, I promise you. In 2013, I was sitting at my psychologist and I was looking at Moses Mabhida Stadium and I said, I need to do something. You know, I don't want to be remembered for a guy who just competes in sport or wins a medal or holds a record. I want to be remembered for a person who created a legacy, somebody who gave back to the world, gave back to the community. And that's when this whole thing came about of joining with Jumping Kids, giving back to these kids, giving them an opportunity that my parents gave to me. And that's where it all came from. My parents gave me the best gift of all. They made me mobile. By being mobile, I was able to go to school. I got educated. I got a degree. I was able to now go and become an employee in a company. I was able to work, earn my own money, support myself. I never depended on the system. And that's what Johan and the team at Jumping Kids are really doing so well, is that they training you to be an upstanding member of the community. And I think that's amazing for me personally to be a part of. A lot of respect to Johan. I have to be honest with you. Johan and I always fight, but our mind and our hearts in the same place. We know where we want to take this and we know how far we want to go with it. So a lot of respect to everybody at Jumping Kids for what they do. I mean, guys like Michael Stevens, Johan Sneders, all of them are just phenomenal people to work with. And yeah, I think for me personally, it's the best thing I've ever done was to partner with them.
And sorry, and any ways that we can help you and support you from our side? Because I spoke to Johan and, well, I said I can get some clothing for you guys.
Yeah.
From my side, because, you know, it's a bit different here than in South Africa, I know. But anyways, how we can help you in any way,
so obviously,
even in a small way.
So through the website, there's a lot of channels within the website that will actually explain donations if people want to donate by cash donations kind of thing. So it's www.jumpingkids.org.za. I think that's.
But you'll put it on your
I'll
Instagram.
put it up so we can see it.
Okay.
And I think the thing here is what we must remember is every single bit helps. So I'll share a story with you. I was doing a fundraiser for Jumping Kids and I was fixated on donating or getting R1 million sponsored, right? That was my whole thing. My focus was R1 million. The day of the event, I only managed to get up to 850,000 in total. And that's split between two different charities, not only Jumping Kids. And for me, I was very upset. I couldn't understand this and said, how could I not make R1 million? You know, the focus was R1 million. That's what we should have done. And then somebody says, immediately, you need to remember the impact you're having on people's lives. You can impact one person in a small way by just being there for them and supporting them. So it's not always about money. It's the little things that matter. You know, I was watching Invictus the other day. I don't know if you've seen Invictus.
Yes.
And the little boy was given a rugby shirt, you know, and you you wear it with honor, you wear it with pride, you know, that kind of a thing. And for me, imagine going out and giving a kid a pair of shoes. It's something that we take for granted. Giving them a shirt is something we take for granted. It's little things that you can do to contribute. It's not only on a financial level. Imagine dedicating 10 minutes of your day to sit with a child and just talk to them, or show them a video of you running, for example, and telling them this is something that you could do. So immediately it can change lives. It can impact people. And I'm all for that. You know, I don't look at things in large scale anymore like I used to. I look at the smallest things that we can do. If 1 million people in this world donated 1,000 rand, we'd have 1 million rand effectively, right? So, yeah. I mean, just as something as simple as that. If you could say, for example, have a luxury of having a cup of coffee every single day, for a month, stop having that cup of coffee every single day and watch where you'll get. I see Heinz telling us we're running out of time.
Yes, oh, sorry, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I'm sorry about that. Talk too much.
No, it's fine. Okay, let's have a quick question. What motivates you?
I think the fact that I can inspire and motivate others to be better is one of the things that always inspires me and motivates me every single day. Is that I believe I can make a difference to the world by showing people what's out there if you believe in yourself.
That's a very beautiful thing. Okay, I think we have 3 minutes left. Okay. If you can be one person for a day, who would it be?
The Hulk.
Hulk. But you're already Hulk. But I thought you were already Hulk.
Yeah, that's only when I compete. But I'm not the Hulk the rest of the time. I want to be the Hulk for one full day and enjoy it.
Well, I find it very funny that mostly it's all the throwers, all the big guys that looks like angry and always like, they always have like the softest and most softest heart, like this teddy bear heart. Definitely. And like all the throwers, like if I talk to them, if you see them from a mile away, you're like, oh no, don't go there. Just go, don't go. Go
yeah,
like
I think when you're in the circle, that's the only time it happens. But out of the circle, you're completely different.
Okay, so sorry, I'm ramming everything. So I didn't read any questions. If anyone wants to ask any questions, I just quickly want to say thank you very much. I first want to say thank you very much, Tyrone, for your time. It was lovely having this chat with you. And I think and thank you for the opportunity for having me, Paralympics and Ottobock. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure being on with you guys. Everyone who allowed me to be here, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think someone asked you how old you are. He's very old.
I'm 40 years old as of 1st of May.
Thank you very much, Tyrone. And I think we would have spoken for a lot more.
I think so. Yeah. The 1 hour wasn't enough for the two of us, obviously.
I think we have to have it next week again.
I think so. I think we need to speak to Hein. He needs to either get a time extension for us or more series for just you and I.
We'll have a series, a topic every day of the week.
Yeah, we do a sequel.
Yes. Okay. Have a lovely day, and I'll chat to you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Bye. Have a lovely night, evening. Are you sure you want to end this video? End.